Today, another mid-range versus flagship fight between Pixel 8a and Pixel 8 Pro. Can the mid-range keep up? Let the battle begin. Today, another mid-range versus flagship fight between Pixel 8a and Pixel 8 Pro. And just setting some expectation, these two phones are on a different price bracket. Pixel 8 Pro is top of the line, while Pixel 8a is the newest mid-range. And with its specs and superior camera, this could also be categorized as flagship killer. Today we're shooting both indoors and outdoors. We're shooting sky, trees, people, and random colorful things. We're also utilizing and comparing all sensors from the dual camera of Pixel 8a to the triple camera of Pixel 8 Pro. Let's start with our image test, color profile, and saturation. And both of these phones are looking really similar in most of the shots, but we will go on and nitpick the difference. I noticed that Pixel 8a is as good as Pixel 8 Pro in terms of colors and image quality. It is natural looking and the colors are toned down. I should say it's also a little bit darker than Pixel 8 Pro. I like the gradual blur on this phone. On some shots, it has warmer white balance than the flagship competition, and definitely although it only has 2x digital zoom, the image is detailed and sharp, just a little bit noisier on the shadows. While the top-of-the-line Pixel 8 Pro has better dynamic range, you will see this on the shadows and darker areas, it is brighter than Pixel 8a. Also, I noticed that it has a cooler white balance compared to the mid-range Pixel. Definitely this phone is sharper on darker conditions and less noisier too. I suspect because of the bigger main sensor that compensate on the shutter speed. Definitely there's no competition when it comes to zoom because this has an extra 5x telephoto zoom, and although Pixel 8a is digital crop, there's no competition on the image coming from the dedicated optical zoom. If you look at the lights at the back, you will see that it has better bokeh balls and creamier background blur compared to the mid-range competition, again because of the bigger sensor. Looking quickly on the specification, the new Pixel 8a has 64 megapixel main and 13 megapixel ultra-wide, while Pixel 8 Pro has a trio of almost 50 megapixel on all three sensor, just 2 megapixel away on the ultra-wide and the telephoto. Again, going back to this comparison test, if you don't know which phone is which on a blind test, especially if you're just shooting on the main sensor, you will hardly notice the difference. And looking at all sensors from the ultra-wide main sensor and the telephoto, colors are consistent. This is Google Pixel 8a using the ultra-wide lens in 4K 30 FPS. It's half the price of Pixel 8 Pro but packing the same feature or camera features as the flagship competition. I believe it's a different hardware, but the output is almost the same. Let's talk about portrait mode, and there's a big difference in terms of portrait mode talking about these two phones. You would think that because both are Pixel phones, they will have the same output. To begin with, if you're looking on this image on a bigger screen, you would see that Pixel 8a has this weird pigmentation on the skin. You wouldn't see this on real life, but I guess just to make the skin more detailed. This looks like she has a lot of freckles on her face, but actually the one you would see on Pixel 8 Pro is closer in real life. But then again, it's a little bit beautified. As you can see, it's smoother than the competition. Also, you would see that the bokeh or bokeh is creamier on Pixel 8 Pro. The new mid-range Pixel 8 has this gradual blur, which is good too, and normally you would associate this with real cameras, not just a smartphone camera. But the creamier background blur is also tied up with bigger and faster lenses, so this is a personal preference. In terms of subject separation or cutout, both of them are doing really good on this. I think over time, Pixel phones are getting better and better on this. Although it's not spot on like Samsung phone or an iPhone, at least you wouldn't see those weird looking cutout or totally missing on the subject on a busy background. You would also notice that Pixel 8 Pro has a wider field of view in portrait mode. Both of them are zoomed in at 1.5 times versus 1.7 times, and you will have a little bit of legroom on the Pro version, so you can easily shoot from waist up to the face. Going for the selfie shot, I think both phones are almost the same, just a difference on the skin tone, darker on Pixel 8a and a little bit lighter on the Pro version. Now, night shot is surprisingly good for Google Pixel 8a considering it's only just a mid-range phone with an outdated sensor. Let me know in the comment section if I'm wrong, but I think it's using the same sensors as what we have on Pixel 7a. Exposure is good on situation where there's a light source, but if you go on pitch black condition, you will see that it's noisier than Pixel 8 Pro, and the white balance becomes warmer too. Again, for the price it offers, I feel like Pixel 8a is doing a really good job on this on my shots, but if you go on a side-by-side test, of course the top-of-the-line Pixel 8 Pro will still beat the mid-range competition. This is the latest Pixel 8 Pro in 4K 30 FPS, again using the ultra-wide lens. This is twice as expensive as Pixel 8a. Of course, this is the top-of-the-line Pixel phone, but it has a superior triple camera setup at the back and also bigger screen and bigger battery. I think one good video feature on Pixel 8 Pro is the video blur. It's like the portrait video of Samsung or the cinematic mode of the iPhones. Checking who manages the flaring better, I think both phones are really good from the ultra-wide main sensor and even the 5x optical zoom of Pixel 8 Pro. All sensors are consistently good. In terms of highlights, again, with the HDR shot of Google Pixel phones, they will produce the same output, so this is a tie for me. The biggest difference of these two phones is the close-up shots. So using the ultra-wide sensor of both phones, you would see that Pixel 8 Pro is closer, and you can also use the 5x optical zoom for a more close-up shots. Talking about sharpness, starting with the ultra-wide lens, I think both phones are almost the same, just more details on the 48 megapixel sensor of Pixel 8 Pro. On the main sensor, again, same tendencies, more details on the Pro version. And going to the digital crop versus the optical zoom of Pixel 8 Pro, obviously the top of the line will beat the mid-range. And lastly, details. I shot the same scenario, but Pixel 8a can only do auto mode, but you can do pro mode on Pixel 8 Pro, and you can choose the highest resolution of 50 megapixel, and you can see when we zoom in, there's more details on Pixel 8 Pro. So I think that's it for the image test. Pretty similar output, just a difference in portrait mode and night shot. Now let's do the video test. We're starting with the stabilization and checking the video quality of these two phones. We're using the ultra-wide lens in 4K 30 FPS. You will see that Pixel 8a is a little bit more colorful than Pixel 8 Pro. This is the main sensor, and the stabilization and quality and even the colors are almost the same. And lastly, this is the digital crop and optical zoom of Pixel 8 Pro, and you would see that the Pro version has longer reach. This is the video zoom test, and again, because of the Pro version's 48 megapixel 5x optical zoom, it can zoom better than Pixel 8a. Now we're moving to the more active stabilization while running, and on the ultra-wide lens, both phones are doing really good. You will hardly notice the difference which is which. And same story goes on the main sensor, again in 4K 30 FPS. If you don't know what phone it is, you wouldn't know the difference on a blind test. And this is the selfie video recording, again in 4K 30 FPS. The color of the sky on Pixel 8 Pro is a little bit lighter than Pixel 8a, but the overall look, again, it's almost the same. This is the slow motion test, same speed, just more vivid on Pixel 8a. And same goes with the super slow motion or 1/8. Again, just more natural looking on Pixel 8 Pro. And this is the low light video recording in 4K 30 FPS. And you will notice that Pixel 8a is better exposed than Pixel 8 Pro, but the flagship top of the line has less noise compared to the mid-range. I think overall, because they have the same processing power, and maybe some people would like to get a smaller Pixel phone, we can consider Pixel 8a as a flagship killer. Well, obviously, if you want to get the best out of a Pixel phone, better details, better night shot, or even portrait mode, then Pixel 8 Pro still maintains all the top-of-the-line features.